Alright, so quick little update on this. This is my buddy's PKM. I just put a Crytek one of the rubbers in it, the purple one. This is the orange one that I decided not to use, and then a modify flat hop nub is what we're gonna do instead of the little orange Crytek one, which looks like that. So instead of putting the Crytek one in it, we're putting a flat hop nub in it instead, which is this from Modify, and put it in, and the hop is good. The hop up's working. I put the barrel on my PKM. It's shooting pretty solid. Rounds are going the distance they need to be. Unfortunately, his PKM, the FPS just plummeted. I don't know why yet. I don't know why yet. But I'm gonna, and I guess you can tag along, gonna pull out this mech box, and we're gonna check some things in there and figure out why this FPS is plummeting the way it is. I went ahead and folded this in a little bit so that when it's up here like that and he lowers his mid tray down on top of it, it doesn't pinch the wires. There's a little bit of a gap there right in here, so that it doesn't pinch those wires, because if you pinch that wire and you snap one of them, you know, your PKM's down, and here you are thinking you just got it loaded and ready to go, and in fact you snipped your own power. So it has the Bull Gear hop up inside it, and the Bull Gear magazine, so all that's left now is to get that FPS back up, because it went from like I think it was 360 down to like 350, and then all of a sudden it went down to like 65 FPS. They were just rolling out. And I got my chronograph over here. Say hi. Okay, there we go. And so we're gonna figure out that, and hopefully, because once you pull this out, you can just pop this lever, and the spring guide and all that will come out. I'm gonna check that, make sure that it's not damaged in any way. Check the nozzle, make sure it's not damaged in any way, and then try to go from there to figure out what's needing to be fixed or replaced. If I have to order parts, I might just take my mech box out of my PKM, because it's shooting at 460 to 458 pretty much is its consistency, and it's right in there, and I love it. It's doing good. Don't look at all that stuff. I got clean a little bit, but yeah, we're gonna do that. And then during the summer, I'm hoping to do something with all these gas mags I got back here that definitely need work, because I bought them all used, and some work, some don't. I got a lot of them that I gotta work on. But well, back to the pecan. But for now, I'm gonna pull this out, and then we're gonna take a look at that, figure out what's wrong with it. If I figure out what's wrong with it, I'll probably film that too. If not, I'll just explain it if it took too long for me to film. Next cutscene. Alright, so on the PKM, the removal of its mech box is pretty easy. You just put your Allen key in here, twist this one out until it comes out, and then you take the one that's up here. It looks like this. You take that one out, and now the mech box is free floating, and you just go ahead and lift it up out back and pull your whole mech box out. That's your motor unit and everything, all right there. That's your contacts. There it is, the whole mech box. I plan on actually picking up an extra mech box or two when I go to different big games and stuff, and just keep it in a nice case, so that if God forbid my mech box decides to just crap out on me, I can just take those two screws out, pull my mech box out, throw in a new one, put the screws back in, boom, good to go. Or change the FPS, just, you know, have one that's set really high, you know, one that's set low, and then have a mid one. I think they're like $80 to $100 for a whole mech box. I forget. I'll have to check. They might be out of stock. But now I got that taken out, I would love to install like a Daytona setup in here, and HPA this thing. Oh my god, it's just so much lighter without the mech box. But let's go ahead and put the PKM to the side, and I'm going to take apart that mech box. Okay, so update on the PKM that I'm working on. I've got all the firing stuff fixed with it. It now has a flat hop, um, flat hop nub with a Crytek bucking. This is the other one. I bought two of them just to try out both of them. Got it shooting. It's shooting fantastically now. It's hitting at 400 to about 380 is the difference I have when testing different rounds with it. The highest I've tried is 3.0s, but it's a PKM, so it's gonna be probably running 7,000 rounds of 2.5s in its PKM magazine, which has the bull gear insert, which is a must. If you're gonna get a PKM, get that insert. Don't even kid yourself with that. It's just something you gotta do. Now my PKM over here is a mess in my shop right now. My PKM also has the bull gear. Both of them have the bull gear hop up chamber in them now. Mine also has the bull gear insert in the magazine. I've stylized mine a little bit by taking some paracord and wrapping it, weaving it through, and then taking plastic cement and actually coating it in plastic cement so that it dries in, and it's solid. If you look carefully, you can see some of the if it'll focus. See how shiny it is? That's the glue has basically turned into a layer of plastic over it. Now underneath all of this, focus. Underneath all this is actually a BB strike from. Of course, mine has a an RPK style or PKM styled flash hider. On my friend's PKM, I've gone with this, which I'll put a picture of here, and I'm running it upside down on his gun. The slant's supposed to be the other way. It's supposed to be slanted this way, but I flipped it this way, and then I put the little grub screw underneath this part right here. It's spring loaded. That way it can't unthread, and that way it stays in nice and tight. Now he gave me permission to go ahead and customize his PKM a little more. I'm going to be adding a weapon charm. Mine has a vodka bottle on it. So I'm going to take this vodka bottle. It was a set of earrings. I'm going to take this little vodka bottle, and if it ever focused, it says Absolute Vodka on the side of it. And I'll be hanging that on his PKM. Okay, so in order to add a weapon charm to this PKM in this spot, which I believe is the best spot to do it, it keeps it more or less protected from just about anything. It's good for display purposes, it's easily seeable, and it's not in the way of anything that I can think of. So, how do we do it? Well, first, let's move my PKM. Well, you know what? I'll just show you mine. Why not? So, lift up the top cover, and then you got this feed tray. This is where I do the modifications. First, I start by drilling 2 tiny holes in the sidewall here. Then I run the loop piece through for the earring to hang off of. And then I take some JB weld, I mix it up, coat it, cover up the metal piece so that, you know, it doesn't snag on anything or you don't scratch yourself on it. And then file it down after it dries so that it's one solid piece. And that's how I attach a weapon charm onto the PKM. Now I'm going to use this to put indents right here for me to drill my holes. Welcome back to Warzone Workshop. Today I'm going to be putting a Absolute Vodka earring on a PKM as a weapon charm. This is for a friend's PKM. I went ahead and took off the top cover and got the belt feed tray out. I went ahead and marked the spots where I'm going to be drilling. I'm going to then drill the holes, put one of these in. It's like a little like keychain ring. Then I'm going to hang the PKM's weapon charm off of that little vodka bottle. Then I'm going to take some GB weld, fill in this back part on the feed tray. This is looking down sights. This is the back side of it. I'll fill that in with some JB weld. JB weld. Got a little bit of that left. And then I'll let that harden, and then I'll file it so that it's nice and relatively smooth, so that you don't have to worry about scratching yourself on the back of the JB weld, because it can be sharp. And that'll lock it in place so that the ring doesn't pop out. And then the only thing you have to worry about is earrings aren't like super sturdy, but they're relatively cheap. So if it does pop off, you just replace it. Just don't put anything irreplaceable on it and then run out into the woods. Stay tuned. Battery's dead. Tactical reload. Now, I off-centered them so that the weapon charm hangs to one side instead of flipping back and forth, in case you put something on it that's not viewable from all sides. It's just a forethought, I guess, is what it would be called. Definitely done on purpose. I use that to do the centering for the holes. The JB weld has 2 purposes. One, it locks it in and keeps the holes from being, wobbly. And 2, it makes it black again, so it's not like 2 shiny holes. Okay, so I've begun spreading it all over here. I also put a tiny amount on both of those. Now I just gotta smooth it all out a little bit. It's still really tacky, as you can see, and it should look pretty good. Well, everything's good. I didn't muck it up this time. So, here's my buddy's PKM. I got the wires here. I did some other modifications, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk to y'all about them. Let me just grab this dummy belt. It's actually a real PKM belt with some dummy rounds. Okay, so here's his feed tray, right? And it is still currently drying, the JB weld, and it's got the little ring here on the bottom side. You can't see it, but that's where the vodka bottle will be dangling from, so it'll be like dingle dangle, and that's gonna be that. Now on this piece right here, some people I assume remove it. I go ahead and I bend this side in, and then I smooth it, put some tape over it, so that when you put it up like this, and you wrap your wires up with electrical tape, and then you bring down your top tray, and it holds it in there, and it's not, you can't see your cables that up through it unless you're really looking, and that way it's protected and they don't get damaged, because you don't want to damage your cables, because then it doesn't work. So then you can bring down your top tray, and you got your PKM ready to go. So that's another modification I do to the PKM. I did it to mine, did it to this one. This PKM has a Prometheus Type bore inner barrel. I'll be linking it in the description, I guess. It also has a bull gear hop-up chamber. It has a Crytac bucking and a flat hop for the top of rubber. The rubber was modified. I'm pretty sure I recorded me doing that. If not, I'll put up a little diagram showing what I cut off of it. The magazine has the bull gear insert, and of course the flash hider that we added to it. And then I didn't do anything with his stock. His stock is nice the way it is. What else have we done? Oh, well, I mean, we fixed it had a feeding problem. Took care of that. It also had a problem where it just wasn't firing. Took care of that. It was the fuse. I went ahead and replaced that. And his is disconnected up here. It's got this little piece that comes with it that apparently you use to disable this rate of fire adjuster. Mine still is the way it normally is, but he has disabled his on purpose, so that it doesn't, so it bypasses it instead of going through this thing, which I guess saves on battery. I haven't really noticed. I carry a bunch of LiPos with me, and I've never had one go out on me. But I guess if you were worried about battery, then that's something you could always do. As for the rest of the PKM, it's in wonderful condition now, and I think it's ready for me to send it back to him so that he can start enjoying it. So I'll see you next time in the war zone. Alright, so final thoughts on customizing PKMs and upgrading PKMs. There's a lot of things that I would consider cosmetic. They're actually upgrades. But let's just start with the front and move our way back. So this is my PKM. Front, of course, the muzzle brake. You can add one that you like, or you can do a suppressor. It doesn't have to be period accurate at all. I love this one. This is what I went with. Moving back, barrel length. Some people chop down their PKMs to make them lighter so that they can run them better. You can do that. I would suggest having someone who knows what they're doing do it. I have never tried it, so I probably won't ever do it anytime soon. But if I was, I would probably just chop it down to there
and just take out that section right there. Just chop it down to here, and put that front sight right there and the flash hider right there. Now moving back, fire or whatever, it has an adjusting thing for its rate of fire. You can disable that and it'll just go with whatever the, I guess, factory setting is. Carry handle. You can either run the plastic furniture stuff, which has some texturing on it, or you can do the nice wood one. Maybe do some wood burning or something like that. Age it a bit. Rough it up if you want. You could do that. That'd be cool. Now the actual upper and lower receiver of the gun, you can of course do dummy belts like I did. I did a weapon charm into the feed tray. Right here, my little vodka bottle. You could do something like that. The wiring, I wrap all mine in electrical tape, and I take the this little metal cover thing that goes up and holds the wiring up against the PKM so that the top cover can come down onto it. I fold that in so that it doesn't press that piece of metal up against your wiring. You don't want to cut your wires in half, so it's probably a good idea to do that. I mean, my mech box is also customized because it's signed by P90 Girl, so there's that. And then I got a decal on the upper the upper receiver's top cover for my girlfriend's art studio stuff, which you wouldn't know unless you flipped up that cover and looked at it. Of course, I have the wood grip for my pistol grip, and then for the stock, I have the wood grip, which has a wrapping done to it. This wrapping that I did, and then just for fun, the other day I decided I was going to put a cheek pad on it. So I put this one on it. It's got this nice little cheek pad over here. And on this side I slapped a big old waifu PKP patch onto it. I'll have some good up-close photos of that pretty soon. And then inside the gun, of course, there's lots of upgrading you can do. I wouldn't call any of that cosmetic. It's definitely an upgrade when it's inside the gun. And that'd be your inner barrel, your hop-up chamber, your bucking, your hop-up nub, all that stuff. And then, of course, motor, spring, gear set, all that stuff. You can change all that stuff, and it'll all be considered upgrades. Of course, there's also tactical upgrades you can get. You can get rails that go onto the front of the barrel assembly. You can get a rail that goes on top of the top cover. You can get rails that attach onto the side of it, kind of like an AK or an SVD style AK rail mount. You can get something like that too. And those are all really cool. It's just not what I'm doing. And it's up to you, really. So if you do decide to do anything with your PKM, feel free to, send me a link to it on Instagram or whatever. You can do that. It's Warzone Workshop. And I guess I guess we'll see you next time in the war zone. Oh my gosh. Oh man, 2 PKMs. Woo. So, I'm getting ready to send it back to my buddy. Look at it. Mine and his. Look at those 2 PKMs. They're so pretty.